Hello, and welcome back to Of the People. I'm Robert Chernin with my co-host,
Ericka Redic.
And Ericka, I'm sorry. We went to break, and I'm really not sorry. You know, I said you painted with a broad brush. You weren't painting with a broad brush. You were painting with a roller.
I have a freaking spray hose over here.
No, I'll take the spray hose, but it was like a roll. So I'm trying to understand all of this because I want to get to the Ukraine war because that's sort of ground zero, no pun intended, of sort of the divide in the Republican Party, right? In terms of whether or not, because most of the Trump supporters would say, you know, charity begins at home, America first, which I agree with. You got to be strong at home first. But, you know, there are reasons to be in the war in Ukraine, and I don't like it. I think Ukraine is a corrupt country. But basically, you're talking about drawing a line between the Ukraine. It's two reasons. There's only two reasons to be in Ukraine. One is obviously the territorial aggression of communist Russia, right? And we're supposed to fight the communists. And as Reagan said, anybody who's willing to fight the communists over there, we're going to fight them, you know, over there, which I think it was Nikki Haley that said that. I don't remember whether it was Vice President Pence. But the other thing is obviously it sends a message to China in the whole Taiwan issue. So while I don't like it, and I still think we're going to lose because of lack of, I just think China, that Russia is going to be too strong in the final analysis. And, you know, there's one thing you can never stop. If someone's willing to die for a cause, you can't stop that, right? It was the kamikaze pilots in World War II, and, you know, Japanese kamikaze pilots, right? Not that they won the war, but I don't think Putin cares about how many Russians die as long as he takes the territory. So tell me again why you think that we should not be, and let's get away from the whole swamp, broad brush, you know, they're corrupt military industrial complex. I mean, there are times where you have to go to war.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's part of the problem in the first place is we don't have a declaration of war. So
minor details.
Number one, Congress is doing their job, declaring war. They haven't declared war, I think, since like Korea or whenever it was. I'm trying to remember now.
Vietnam. Gulf of Tonkin resolution.
We had, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and an entire administrative state basically provoke Russia into invading Ukraine. So you had Obama who said, I can offer you flexibility after the election. So you had Obama basically give over the Crimea to Russia. And then we started threatening adding all of these countries to NATO that we said we would not add to NATO, provoking Russia into invading Ukraine. And now we're giving billions of dollars to the traditionally most corrupt country in Eastern Europe until 5 minutes ago. All this money has gone missing. So what, we're just going to keep giving more money that's already gone missing to the most corrupt country in Europe? And then we're surprised by any of this stuff. It's just, it's not just Ukraine. It's the so many countries that we have military bases in. It's the fact that our National Guard has been called up without a declaration of war and sent to war zones instead of being here to protect our country and to be ready for when there's natural disasters. The whole thing is just absolute corruption and nonsense. And the American people can see it. And so if you support the conflict and continuing to send billions of dollars overseas instead of addressing all of the problems we have here, I don't think you're fit to be an American president.
That's a big statement.
It is
the
government
so wait a minute. So
trying to solve. Wait, hold on.
Is that your red line?
The government trying to solve a problem it created. Our government created the problem between Ukraine and Russia, and now they want billions of dollars to solve the problem. That is the epitome of the problem with the corruption in this country and in the administrative state.
Okay. I'm not sure. Again, corruption is a legal charge, right? Someone's got to show me proof. I agree there is a military industrial complex. I agree we created the problem with Russia initially during the Obama years and perhaps even during the early Trump years, because what Russia really wants is two things. They wanted border security, and that's one of the reasons they wanted those satellite countries back to recreate the old USSR. But they also wanted respect, and we gave them none of that, right? So they had nothing to lose. But are you alleging that we did all this to fund the military industrial complex to give money to Ukraine? You're losing me somewhere here, because look, we all create our own problems. I don't know in your life, but most of the problems I have in my life, I've created. So as a country, we create our own problems as well. And then when you realize, oh, I screwed up, I got to fix the problem. I agree there's no declaration of war, but of course, then again, you want to get into separation of powers, we can have that discussion, right? I get that. And I'm not arguing. Look, if you go back to our earlier shows, I said, look, there's only really, I think we're losing the war, and I think we will. I think, the Donbass region is going to be gone one way or the other, because here's the thing. When you go to war, even undeclared or otherwise, you need to fulfill two things. Number one is you have to have a defined mission, and you have to be able to declare or define what victory is going to look like.
Correct.
We have none of those here. But then again, we didn't have any of that in any of the other conflicts we were in either as well. And when you extract yourself from a war zone, there's got to be peace. Peace has to come with a negotiation. So unless you are going to declare or fight this war to a total victory where Russia is forced to lay down their arms, and that is not ever in your lifetime or in my lifetime going to happen. Therefore, it will not be a total victory over Russia. It will be a piecemeal victory. It will require negotiations when they're tired. And by the way, the whole thing with war, it's supposed to be ugly. And it's supposed to be brutal, because that's why there's not supposed to be a lot of it. Because if you sanitize the war, let them fight over there. Then of course, as long as it's not affecting me at home, it just runs up the budget or whatever. So how do you get out of it? So forget about who created it. We can have that argument. Forget about, the money that's going there, because we all know that Ukraine is corrupt. I get that. So be King Solomon for me. As opposed to, a mile wide and an inch deep, not you, of course, right? A slogan is one thing. How do you solve the problem? How do you end the war? Russia's not going to go back. Ukraine's not going to stop fighting. Russia's not going to stop fighting. So how do you get out of it other than this endless war, unless you believe, honestly and truly, that we can drive Russia to complete surrender?
We don't. We turn off the spigot of money and force Ukraine to the negotiating table, and they give up some of their land and some of their sovereignty. Period.
But if you listen to the presidential candidates on the stage, that was not an option, because you're still ceding territory, and under the Pavlovian dog theory of international politics. You like that? The Pavlovian dog theory of international politics, which is the next theory to real politics, which is an enemy of my enemy is my friend. If you reward Russia with the Donbass region, over time, it's going to encourage them to go into, whether it's Croatia or one of the other neighboring countries, to rebuild that curtain or perimeter.
Yeah. And America has to learn that if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So when our elected officials act like a bunch of idiots and say stupid things and encourage stupid things, our supposed allies get attacked and bad things happen. It is the epitome of win stupid games, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. This is what has happened. That's why we've got Africa falling apart to coups right now. How many coups have we encouraged in Africa? We've armed them and encouraged them.
And look, the Taliban. Look. Okay, not everything in the world can. Not everything in the world. Police. Not everything in the world is our fault.
Police.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Can we go back to Ukraine? Can we go back to Ukraine, please? Solve the problem.
Ukraine is our fault.
I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing how do you solve the problem? I mean, if you show up to
not my responsibility, not our responsibility.
If you show up to a gunfight and you bring a knife, you're going to lose. Okay, so we're in this now, regardless of how we got in it. And I will probably agree with you on most of what you just said, but we're in it now. How do you get us out of it? Where is there peace with dignity? Where is there a political solution that doesn't encourage more bad behavior?
It is Ukraine is Ukraine's responsibility. They're the ones who decided to dance with the devil.
Wait a minute. And Russia invaded the Ukraine. Russia invaded the Ukraine.
And why did Russia invade Ukraine? Because Ukraine got in bed with America, saying that they were going to do a bunch of stuff, saying they were going to do this and that, being corrupt, acting like idiots. Not our problem. It is not my problem as an American citizen. My economy and my life should not be getting destroyed because the country of Ukraine is run by a bunch of corrupt oligarchs. My life should not be made worse because the likes of Joe Biden and his drug-addled, degenerate son were screwing around with things. That is the whole problem. There is too much power in the federal government to go screw up other countries and invade and get involved and then get money and give money. I mean, this is all just evidence for everything that is wrong with the federal government and with our foreign policy. We can sit here and say, oh, we need to be world police and we need to do stuff. No, we don't. Stop giving them money. Stop supporting them. Stop propping up these awful, corrupt governments and corrupt government officials in other countries and let them be stupid and suffer the consequences of their own actions. It is not our responsibility. Period. We're making it worse. We pushed Russia into bed with China by doing the Russia gate for years and doing all this stuff. We are creating the problems that we now say we need more money and power and influence to go solve. So if the United States wants to get out, if all these countries want to stop having problems, they need to get out of bed with the American government. That's my take.
Okay. I would like to live in the world that you live in. I don't think that that's the real world. No disrespect. I agree with the causation. I do not agree with the solution.
Well, then what is your solution?
See, for that, because we're now out of time, according to Lord Benjamin. So you all folks are going to have to tune into the next show if you want Bobby's solution. Besides, then it gives me time to think about it. And I can come up with a good one.
Oh, so you don't have a solution?
I got it. Oh, no. I have.
Right.
Hey,
trying to get out of it.
Okay, you should all elect me president because I can solve all of the country's problems. Bobby Chernin for president. I think, hey, if Vivek can do it, I think I can. Of course, I don't have the money he has. Folks, we have to go. We have to go to break. We have to go make some money. And then we have to go because it's the end of the show. Thank you for joining us. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. At RB Chernin. At Generally Irritable, right? Is that what your handle is?
It's at Ericka Redic.
At Ericka Redic. I'm sorry, don't forget the K in there. And follow us. Give us comments. Come on, I can take it. Ericka, clearly, if you were listening to the last segment, she can take it.
Oh, yeah.
So, folks, we will see you next week. Take care.